Hey, what's up guys? My name is Brett. Welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another Duel Links video, welcome back to one of the most clickbait titled videos on my channel. Honestly, this is going to be a Q&A video, but I'm going to go over all the Duel Links related questions first, and I'll put timestamps in the description down below to every question, so if you want to see my thoughts on the video topic, then of course go to that. If you want to see anything else, then of course stay through the video or click on to what questions kind of interest you. So I was meant to do this about a month ago, and I got like 80 or something questions. A lot of them were kind of repeated, so I've chosen 10, which seems really bad, but a lot of them were very similar, and some of them I kind of want to spin off into their own videos because those questions were kind of interesting. So, not to say they weren't interesting in general, but you know what I mean. I think I could talk more about them rather than put them in a Q&A and have them be kind of, not wasted, but just, yeah, like, I kind of want to talk more about those specific ones than the ones in here. So, let's go through with these questions. So this one's from Stargazer. Should more hand traps be introduced to Duel Links, i.e. Ash Blossom, Gauze, Effect Veiler, etc.? And if so, how they affect the current and future meta? Well, personally, Ash Blossom and Gauze can get the hell out. I don't really like that Ash Blossom is really this necessary card in the TCG to kind of have, at least in your side deck. I don't like the fact that we've gone to a point in the game where hand traps are a necessity, but I feel like certain hand traps can come and will be pretty good. So obviously, I don't know if you consider Sphere Creeper a hand trap. I think it's kind of on the border of becoming one or whatever. But things like a Battle Fader, I think that would be a really good card in Duel Links. Obviously, just the fact that it does end the battle phase, that's a really good one. And I think Effect Fader as well would be one that would shut down a lot of plays. It wouldn't necessarily render your opponent's entire first turn play, at least, completely useless. So I think things like Effect Veiler and Battle Faders, things that came around in the 5Ds era, can come through. I think even potentially Droll and Lockbird, just because we don't really have any decks right now that will, you know, that can be like stopped outright by Droll. So at least to my knowledge, we probably do, and I'm probably brain dead thinking of, like, not thinking of one, but things like that I think that are well, part of the 5Ds era can come, but anything kind of beyond that can't. And Gauze, I think, is another beast in its own. I know that came out like in the gap between GX and 5Ds, and that card, I think, just the fact that it summons out him kind of for free basically when you take damage. I believe that's what Gauze does. If I'm getting that completely wrong, it's been a way too long since I've read the card, but if he does that, then I think that's way too powerful and something that we probably will get at some point down the line, but not right now. Maybe like a year when Xyz summoning comes out and things become way quicker than they are right now. Maybe then Gauze will be kind of necessary, but right now I don't want to see Gauze for a very long time. If Pendulums and Link formats were to make an appearance, or when they eventually do come to Duel Links due to some voice lines, how do you think Konami should change the field of general gameplay to make sure that everyone can still have fun with the game? Good job you said if, because I really don't think we're going to get to Pendulum and Link. I would like it to get there. I really would. I'd like the game to get there, but just from the general like opinion and response of, like, you know, 5Ds, I really think that even Zexal's a push. I still think it's coming this year, or maybe like on a little bit of a delay. I could understand that coming on a bit of a delay, but Pendulum and Link formats, that's where people kind of have a real big issue with the game. Like, there is that general opinion that Pendulums ruined Yu-Gi-Oh! And Links ruined Yu-Gi-Oh! But I would like those formats to come, definitely. If they did come, then they just follow the speed duel format we have for previously established Konami properties. So for Psycho Card Battle on 3DS, they had the Pendulum zones on the outside of the field, like in Master Rule 3, whereas obviously in Master Rule 4 they would put back into the Spell and Trap card zones. And then for Link formats, it would just be like in Vrains, and obviously we haven't seen Pendulums in Vrains yet, and we might not. Like, they might do this thing where Pendulums are a Master Rule only thing in Vrains. They won't be used in speed duels, which I could see them doing to kind of get the most benefit out of it, because otherwise, like, for most Pendulum decks, you'll then only have access to one Spell and Trap card zone, which would really hinder their whole strategy, I think, at any like real chance of you playing anything other than just Pendulums. So it's a weird one. It's definitely something Konami need to think about, because they have changed the game board so much, and I genuinely do wonder whether Duel Links will kind of die down before we get to Pendulums. They'll be like, phew, we don't have to find a way to incorporate these in Link summoning, or maybe they'll skip Pendulums and go straight to Links, because that would be the most natural progression model, since we have seen Links, well, we've seen fusions, rituals, Xyz, and synchros in Vrains. So I'm hopeful. I still think that that story mode is a thing that's needed for, you know, to have a fun time with the game. Like, if you could just ease people in to this summoning mechanic, like with the 5Ds world, you got a tutorial and then you're like, go on, play with synchros. Like, if they have this story mode that they're thinking of doing, that it's been rumored or they said in an interview or whatever, if that does come, then I hope that that's a nice little segue into like Pendulums and Links and even Xyz to a point. Just get people familiar with the mechanic and make it so that they're not like scared away. If they could do other formats, that'd be kind of cool. Like if they did a special duels format, like a ranked special duels, where you just played with fusions and, you know, synchros and, yeah, fusion synchros rituals, that'd be kind of cool as well. But I really don't know. So it's one of those questions that you kind of need to just wait and see what Konami does, because they could do anything with this game. They could kill the game tomorrow if they really wanted to. I doubt they will. Hope they don't. But they could do that if they wanted to. So, yeah. From Ivica Pavic, I probably destroyed that name, I apologize. Will Konami games ever become free-to-play friendly? Duel Links was, for a while, like for a good 6-7 months, it was a very free-to-play friendly game. They've been getting better. They've been introducing obviously the UR Dream tickets. They've been trying to do new things. And I think the game still is very free-to-play friendly. Like even DK did a video talking about how to fix free-to-play in Duel Links. And I don't necessarily think it needs fixing, but I think people just need to be smart with their gems if they want to play competitively. But to be completely honest, I could not spend any money on this game and still get the same enjoyment out of it that I do. Like I buy, you know, packs for YouTube videos and stuff, and I never end up making videos, and I never really play with those decks outside of those things. So it swings and roundabouts. I think the game is, you know, kind of free to play friendly, but obviously towards the start, Konami needed to build that trust with its audience, and I feel like they've kind of lost that a little bit. So I hope the next game, whatever it is, if it is free to play, I hope it's really free to play friendly. But I just don't know what they can do at this point other than like say, hey, we're dropping the prices of old packs. Like I think that would be a good start if they said we're dropping the prices of the first like 15 boxes, or that's more than that, like first 10 boxes or something. Then that'd be a good start. And they can kind of continually rotate things out, so people can either buy the new cards as they come out, or wait a while and try and get a better deal later on in the game's life cycle. So Schmarfel47 asks, why and when did you start making Yu-Gi-Oh videos? I know you've done other Yu-Gi-Oh games in the past, but I haven't really watched those videos. That's fine. I just want to know your origin story, I guess. So this should really be a whole video on its own, but if I wanted to do that, I'd have like footage from back then when I did stuff. So back in, it must have been 2011, I had a real crappy phone, and I used to record like deck profiles and trade binders and stuff, and I used to do trades online and stuff, and I wanted to build a Blackwing deck, and that was kind of the antithesis for me doing that. So I had like experimented with Yu-Gi-Oh videos in the past a very long time ago, and obviously now it got to where I just left the sixth form, so that's like what, 18 I think it is. I think that's the age you leave sixth form. I should really know that. And Legacy of Duelist was kind of coming out, and it was no one really knew what was going on with it. So literally the week it came out, there was a blog post on the PlayStation blog saying about some DLC coming. No one really knew about this. No one really paid any attention to it. I made a video on it. That video did well, and then from then on I started doing Legacy of Duelist content, and that turned into doing Darkest Dimensions and Vrain stuff for a little bit. And then of course that segued nicely into Duel Links, replacing Legacy of Duelist, and obviously with the new Switch game coming out, then that will probably come back for a bit. Obviously Duel Links will kind of stay here, but really it was just the right like luck at the right time, I guess, for why I started and why I continue making Yu-Gi-Oh content on YouTube. And obviously nowadays the views are down. Like it's kind of a shame that anything that's not a leak video does pretty poorly on my channel, honestly. So thanks for support if you're still watching this video, because I know obviously people probably clicked off because of the title, but still, that's kind of my origin story. It's a really crappy story. Like, you know what, I tried in the past, I was a little kid, I failed, Legacy Duels came out, I got lucky with the video, I then continued it on. That's literally the TLDR of it. From Neptune Lover, are you ever going to make more gameplay videos? Yes. This question comes up like a shit ton, and honestly, I've been wanting to do gameplay videos for a very long time. It's just the fact that part of me would rather spend time on like the discussion things, and for a while those videos were doing really well, and like rank PvP videos weren't doing well, and that's kind of with YouTube you kind of have to weigh things up as to what's going to do well on the channel and what's not. And that's why there's been like huge gaps in between videos, because if I did rank PvP videos, there would be like a video every single day, or at least try to. So with the new box out, with the new Phoenix deck or whatever, Laval's, I'm going to try and get rank PvP videos out from next week. I'm going to try and take the weekend off, and not necessarily off, there'll probably be a video up on the weekend, but like just try and work on some stuff and get some cool decks out. But they won't be like unique deck creations. That's one thing I want to stress, is that it will be me like playing maybe like some decks I found on Discord, or some decks from Reddit, or like from other YouTubers that obviously I'll credit, from like Japanese YouTubers and stuff, because I suck at building decks, and if I'm going to do a PvP video, it's going to be for fun, and it's not like any malicious intent, like I'm stealing people's decks and whatever, like I'm claiming it's my own, because I won't. I'll straight up just like shout out whoever made it, leave link description and everything. So it's just going to be me having a bit of fun on PvP, whether like I win or lose in those videos or not. That's completely irrelevant. It's just going to be a fun time, kind of like I used to do when the game first started. I just did the Duel Links PvP videos, kind of like that. So those should be coming from next week. Fingers crossed. From what 007, so Ethan, my rival on the YouTubes, apparently we hate each other. I don't know, like people kind of think we hate each other, but we don't. We're cool. Who's your favorite Yu-Gi-Oh waifu? It's between Akiza and Serena, honestly. Like, if you were to just completely, like, take them as a character, Serena is way more badass, I think. But Akiza's Akiza. Like, come on. I really don't know how to answer that question as to why. Like, they're just the two most badass female Yu-Gi-Oh characters we've had in the show, so there you go. Okay, now this one is from StardustNobody. He is one of my very first YouTube channel members, so I kind of had to include him on this one. Let's do 3. Number 1, what is your favorite mecha anime? Well, I guess it has to be Code Geass, considering that's the only one I've ever seen. Fingers crossed it's anyone I've ever seen. I really can't remember. Number 2, what's your favorite character from a mecha anime? This will trigger you, but it's Cullen, so have fun all you C2 lovers. Number 3, what's your favorite Ritual, Fusion, Synchro, Xyz, Pendulum, and Links? So we're going to kind of go in a bit of a random order here, just because Ritual I really can't think of right now. So Fusion is definitely Dark Magician to Dragon Knight. That's my favorite deck to play in the TCG, and I love it to bits. Xyz and Pendulum, I'm going to combine together. I'm going to cheat here and use Odd Eyes Raging Dragon, because that guy has the most badass summoning animation I've seen in Arc 5. It's one of the very few cards I own as part of a collectible purposes, and just great in general. Link monsters, cool. Link monsters a hard one, because like I would say Firewall just on design purposes, but like even Topologic Gunblood Dragon from design purpose, like it's really, I don't really use Link monsters. That's the thing. It's probably like, you know, one of those two, Firewall or Topologic Gunblood Dragon. Honestly, just for design purposes, and obviously in the anime, the summoning animations are really cool. So yeah, not the fact I use them, because Jesus, no, I'm not. You know, obviously you can't use them anymore, but still, like, too good. For Synchro, it's got to be Black Rose. Just it's Akiza's ace monster, and its effect is pretty bonkers. And I like Akiza, so yeah, that's basically it. I'm gonna have to skip the ritual question, because I can't think of a ritual monster I actually like, and I know that's gonna bite me in the ass. I'm just gonna say Chaos Max Dragon. Like, why not? And our final question from Andres. When Duel Links isn't a thing anymore, will you stop YouTube or continue doing it? If so, how will you go about it? Mainstream games, classics, a bit of both? That's a question that, honestly, it'll either be like just transition straight to another Yu-Gi-Oh game, or I would ideally, at that point, I think YouTube will kind of be in a bad place, and streaming and things like Twitch will be even bigger, and I think I'd like to get back to doing that, and I would play more things, like I'm currently playing Smash Brothers and Tales of Vesperia Definitive Edition and Persona 5. I'd like to just sit there and stream that kind of thing and just play a game, because I just like talking about games, honestly. Like, if it wasn't doing Yu-Gi-Oh stuff, I would just be like a channel that just talked about games and talked about like gaming news and shit. So it would probably be something along those lines if Duel Links did die. So yeah, look forward to that if Duel Links dies, because I kind of want to start doing that, but it would be really detrimental to the channel right now. But that is it. That is this Q&A done. It was a bit longer than I wanted it to be. I'll probably end up cutting it down a bit. It's currently 22 minutes according to my camera, but I know there's things I need to cut out. Let me know if you want to do more of these. If there's any specific questions you want asked for the next one, feel free to put them in the comments down below. If they're clickbaity enough, then that'll be like the better. I thought I had more. I did have more. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next Duel Links video. See you then.